Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kiran Bendigeri from Grafosyss IAS. In this video, let's have a look at 7th Standard Science 2nd Chapter. Nutrition in animals. Animals get their food from plants, either directly by eating plants or indirectly by eating animals that eat plants. Some animals eat both plants and animals. Recall that all organisms, including humans, require food for growth, repair, and functioning of the body. Animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body. So, animals get their food from plants, directly or indirectly. Some directly depend on plants. Those are herbivores. Some indirectly depend on plants, that are the carnivorous animals which feed on herbivorous animals, and in turn herbivorous animals feed on plants, right? So we have studied all about these things in previous chapters. We are going to reread it again about the nutrition and its intake of food and its utilization in the body, right? The components of food, such as carbohydrates, are complex substances. So carbohydrates, these are complex substances. These complex substances cannot be utilized as such, so they are broken down into simpler substances. The breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances is called digestion, right? So what is digestion? Breakdown of complex components of food into simpler substances. Different ways of taking food. The mode of taking food into the body varies in different organisms. Bees and hummingbirds suck the nectar of plants. Infants of human and many other animals feed on mother's milk. Snakes, like the python, swallow the animals they prey upon. Some aquatic animals filter tiny food particles floating nearby and feed upon them. So different organisms consume food in different ways, like bees and birds suck nectar from plants, and infants of human and animals feed on mother's milk, and snakes swallow animals. Aquatic animals consume the floating food particles, right? Starfish feeds on animals covered by hard shells of calcium carbonate. After opening the shell, the starfish pops out its stomach through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. The stomach then goes back into the body and the food is slowly digested. Starfish pops out its mouth through its mouth. Starfish pops out its stomach through its mouth to eat the soft animal inside the shell. These depend on the animals which are covered by hard shells, right? Digestion in humans. We take in food through the mouth, digest and utilize it. The unused part of the food is defecated. Have you ever wondered what happens to the food inside the body? The food passes through a continuous canal which begins at the buccal cavity and ends at the anus. The canal can be divided into various compartments. The buccal cavity, food pipe or esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, ending in the rectum, and the anus. Is it not a very long path? These parts together form the alimentary canal. This is the digestive tract. So we have to remember these 6 things in series, right? First, buccal cavity, next food pipe or esophagus, which is at the neck part, below the neck part, and stomach, and small intestine, large intestine, it ends in the rectum, and the anus. So remember this in series, right? The food components gradually get digested as food travels through the various compartments. The inner walls of the stomach and the small intestine and the various glands associated with the canal, such as salivary glands, the liver and the pancreas, secrete digestive juices. The digestive juices convert complex substances of food into simpler ones. The digestive tract and the associated glands together constitute the digestive system. As the food passes through various compartments, it gradually gets digested, right? So in all the things like walls of the stomach and the small intestine and also various glands, these produces different digestive juices, right? We are going to study about it. The digestive juices convert complex substances of food into simpler ones. Human digestive system. The mouth and the buccal cavity. So this is the digestive system, right? And this figure is from National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. So this is the mouth. Salivary glands, remember, saliva is produced here, and the food pipe or the esophagus, and next here stomach and liver, gallbladder and pancreas, next small intestine, and this is the large intestine, right? Appendix, this is the rectum, and end is anus, right? Please remember this in series. Salivary glands, here a buccal cavity is there, and esophagus, stomach, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus, and here comes liver, gallbladder, right? So this is the gallbladder, and here appendix. Food is taken into the body through the mouth. The process of taking food into the body is called indigestion. We chew the food with the teeth and break it down mechanically into small pieces. Each tooth is rooted in a separate socket in the gums. Our teeth vary in appearance and perform different functions. Accordingly, they are given different names, right? So there are different types of teeth in our mouth. So what are they? Milk teeth and permanent teeth. The first set of teeth grows during infancy and they fall off at the age between 6 to 8 years. So we might have observed this. They fall at the age of 6 and 8 years. These are called milk teeth, right? Milk teeth. Remember this. Only the children which are below 6 and 8 years are having milk teeth. The second set that replaces them are the permanent teeth. So we are going to study about permanent teeth. The permanent teeth may last throughout life or fall off during old age or due to some dental disease. So they are molar, premolar, canine, incisor. Let's have a look in this pic. So this is first is incisors, and later canine, right? Premolar, molar, right? Molar, premolar, canine, incisor. So please remember in series. Molar, which are wide, are called molar, and second set are premolar, and canine. Canine are like sharp tooths, which are long compared to other teeth. Those are canine, and the front one are incisors. So please remember this in series. Molar, premolar, canine, incisors. So 4 types, right? Our mouth has the salivary glands which secrete saliva. So saliva is produced by salivary glands. The saliva breaks down the starch into sugars. We have read about starch in previous chapter also. Please recall where we use this starch word. The tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached at the back to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and can be moved in all directions. Tongue mixes saliva with the food during chewing and helps in swallowing food. We also taste food with our tongue. It has taste buds that detect different tastes of food. So it has mainly 2 purposes: to mix the food with saliva and to taste the food, right? Sweets and tooth decay. Normally bacteria are present in our mouth, but they are not harmful to us. However, if we do not clean our teeth and mouth after eating, many harmful bacteria also begin to live and grow in it. These bacteria break down the sugars present from the leftover food and release acids. The acids gradually damage the teeth. This is called tooth decay. If it is not treated in time, it causes severe toothache and in extreme cases results in tooth loss. Chocolates, sweets, soft drinks and other sugar products are the main culprits of tooth decay. Therefore, one should clean the teeth with a brush or daton and dental floss. A special strong thread which is moved between 2 teeth to take out trapped food particles at least twice a day, and rinse the mouth after every meal. Also, one should not put dirty fingers or any unwashed object in the mouth. So from this passage we can know that hygiene is very much important. We cannot we should not put our dirty hands or any dirty things in our mouth, which may have the bacterias, harmful bacterias, which are very bad for our tooth. Generally we will have bacterias, good bacterias and also bad bacterias, harmful bacterias. Harmful bacterias, these break down the sugars which are present in the food, and they release acids. The acids in turn damage the teeth, so it causes the tooth decay. And when tooth decay is reaches the extreme level, it causes tooth loss. Sometimes when you eat in hurry, talk or laugh while eating, you may cough, get hiccups or a choking sensation. This happens when food particles enter the windpipe. The windpipe carries air from the nostrils to the lungs. It runs adjacent to the food pipe. So there is a windpipe and also food pipe adjacent to each other. So while eating hurriedly, or if we laugh while eating or talk, we may get cough or hiccups. It is because food particles accidentally enters the windpipe. So it is always advised to not to talk, or to not to laugh, or not to see or watch television while eating, right? But inside the throat, air and food share a common passage. Within throat, air and food share a common passage. During the act of swallowing, a flip-like valve closes the passage of the windpipe and guides the food into the food pipe. If by chance food particles enters the windpipe, we feel choked, get hiccups or cough, right? The food pipe or esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. The food pipe runs along the neck and the chest. Food is pushed down by movement of the wall of the food pipe. Actually, this movement takes place throughout the alimentary canal and pushes the food downwards. At times, the food is not accepted by our stomach and is vomited out. So, the swallowed food, it passes through esophagus, right? Esophagus or food pipe. Please remember the spelling of esophagus, right? So this runs through neck and the chest, and it is pushed down by movement of the wall. So this movement takes place through alimentary canal, right? Sometimes our stomach won't accept the food and it is vomited out. The stomach. So next, the stomach. After esophagus, stomach. I hope you remember these things in series. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. Please visualize it. Its shapes is like a flattened U, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It receives food from the food pipe at one end and opens into the small intestine at the other. So you are seeing here stomach, and it has two openings, one for food pipe, another for small intestine, right? The inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices. So three things, remember: mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices. The mucus protects the lining of the stomach. The acid kills many bacteria that enters along with the food and makes the medium in the stomach acidic and helps the digestive juices to act. So acid's job is to kill the bacteria. The digestive juices breaks down the proteins into simpler substances, right? So digestive juice break proteins, simple substances. The small intestine is highly coiled and is about 7.5 meters long. So it is very long, 7.5 meters. We are usually 1.5 meters long. Our height is 1.5 meters. Generally it is. So you can imagine how long our small intestine is. 7.5 meters means it is approximately 6 times of our height, right? It receives secretions from liver and the pancreas. Besides, its wall also secretes juices. The liver is a reddish brown gland situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. It is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice that is stored in a sac called the gallbladder. So bile juice, please remember, bile juice by liver, bile juice, liver, and it is stored in gallbladder. So liver, gallbladder. Bile juice is produced here and it is stored in gallbladder. The bile plays an important role in the digestion of fats. The pancreas is a large cream-colored gland located just below the stomach. The pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats, proteins and changes them into simple forms. So the pancreas. So pancreas are here, right? So what it does? So it acts on carbohydrates, fats and proteins. So as the food passes through each compartment, it converted into simple forms. So please remember that. The working of the stomach was discovered by a strange accident. In 1822, a man named Alexis Saint Martin was badly hit by a shotgun. The bullet had seriously damaged the chest wall and made a hole in his stomach. He was brought to an American Army doctor, William Beaumont. The doctor saved the patient, but he could not close the hole properly and left it bandaged. Beaumont took it as a great opportunity to see the inside of the stomach through the hole. He made some wonderful observations. So this working of stomach was discovered by accident by an American Army doctor. His name is William Beaumont. Right. So I hope you understood the story. Beaumont found that the stomach was churning food. Its wall secreted a fluid which could digest the food. He also observed that the end of the stomach opens into the intestine only after the digestion of the food inside the stomach is completed. So after the process is done, the intestine will open, right? The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the intestine, where the intestinal juice completes the digestion of all components of the food. The carbohydrates get broken into simple sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol and proteins into amino acids. So sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acids and glycerol, right? Proteins into amino acids. Absorption in the small intestine. The digested food can now pass into the blood vessels in the wall of the intestine. The process is called absorption. Right? From the wall of intestine, the digested food passes through blood vessels. The inner walls of the small intestine have thousands of finger-like outgrowths. These are called villi. In the small intestine, finger-like outgrowths. Villi. Can you guess what the role of villi could be in the intestine? The villi increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. Each villus has a network of thin and small blood vessels close to its surface. The surface of the villi absorbs the digested food materials. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body, where they are used to build complex substances such as the proteins required by the body. This is called assimilation. So remember, assimilation. The absorbed substances are transported via the blood vessels to different organs of the body, where it is used to build complex substances such as proteins. Proteins are building blocks of our body, which we have read in previous class book, right? So this is called assimilation. In the cells, glucose breaks down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide, and water and energy is released. right? Glucose breaks down in the presence of oxygen and converts into carbon dioxide, water and energy. So after this step, after small intestine, it enters into large intestine. The remaining one will enter into large intestine, right? Large intestine. Large intestine is wider and shorter than the small intestine. It is about 1.5 meter in length. So it's approximately our height of the body, right? Its function is to absorb water and some salts from the undigested food material. The remaining waste passes into the rectum and remains there as semi-solid phases. The facial matter is removed through the anus from time to time. This is called egestion. So large intestine, water and some salts are absorbed, right? So remember the job of small intestine and also large intestine, right? And after large intestine, rectum and then to anus. Digestion in grass eating animals. They quickly swallow the grass and store it in a part of the stomach called rumen. So this is the special thing about grass eating animals. So there is slight difference. So please have a look at it. So there is a part of the stomach called rumen. Here the food gets partially digested and is called cud. But later the cud returns to the mouth in small lumps and the animal chews it. This process is called rumination and these animals are called ruminants. So the total food is first consumed through the mouth and it enters into stomach. It is partially digested. So after some time the food comes back to the mouth from the stomach in the through the food pipe, and it will be grinded again and later it will be sent to the stomach. So this process is called rumination, right? The grass is rich in cellulose, a type of carbohydrate. Many animals including humans cannot digest cellulose. So remember these things. Ruminants have a large sac-like structure called rumen between the esophagus and the small intestine. The cellulose of the food is digested here by the action of certain bacteria which are not present in humans. So far you have learnt about animals which possesses the digestive system, but there are many small organisms which do not have a mouth and a digestive system. Then how do they acquire and digest food? In the section below you will learn another interesting way of food intake. So these are the two ways. In ruminants it is different, in humans it is bit different, right? So there are many ways by which many other species take food or consume food. Sometimes you may have experienced the need to pass watery stool frequently. This condition is known as diarrhea. It may be caused by an infection, food poisoning or indigestion. It is very common in India, particularly among children. Under severe conditions it can be fatal. This is because of the excessive loss of water and the salts from the body. Diarrhea should not be neglected. Even before a doctor is consulted, the patient should be given plenty of boiled and cooled water with a pinch of salt and sugar dissolved in it. This is called oral rehydration solution. So you might have heard about ORS. So this advertisement appears on TV many times. This is related to diarrhea. So we should not neglect the diarrhea, in which there will be excessive loss of water and salts from the body. So we have to give lot of boiled and cooled water with a pinch of salt and sugar to the patient, right? Feeding and digestion in amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic single-celled organism found in pond water. Amoeba has a cell membrane, a rounded, dense nucleus, and many small bubble-like vacuoles in its cytoplasm. So remember, cell membrane, cytoplasm, nucleus, right? Amoeba constantly changes its shape and position. It pushes out one or more finger-like projections called pseudopodia or false feet for movement and capture of food. So it pushes out one or more finger-like projections for movement and capture of food. So this is the way by which amoeba consumes its food, right? Amoeba feeds on some microscopic organisms. When it senses food, it pushes out pseudopodia around the food particle and engulfs it. The food becomes trapped in a food vacuole. Digestive juices are secreted into the food vacuole. They act on the food and break it down into simpler substance. Gradually, the digested food is absorbed. The absorbed substances are used for growth, maintenance, and multiplication. The undigested residue of the food is expelled outside by the vacuole. The basic process of digestion of food and release of energy is the same in all animals. So you saw here. So this is the difference in amoeba, how it consumes the food, right? Here you have to remember pseudopodia and finger-like structure and vacuole, right? So these are the keywords. So I hope you all remember these keywords: absorption, amino acid, amoeba, assimilation, bile, buccal activity, canine, cellulose, digestion, digestion, fatty acid, etc. Right? So what we just learned: animal nutrition includes nutrient requirement, mode of intake of food, and its utilization in the body. Right? The human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal and secretory glands. It consists of the buccal activity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, ending in rectum, and anus. The main digestive glands which secrete digestive juices are salivary glands in the mouth, the liver, and the pancreas. The stomach wall and the wall of the small intestine also secrete digestive juices. The modes of feeding may vary in different organisms. Nutrition is a complex process involving ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, digestion. Digestion of carbohydrates such like starch begins in the buccal cavity. The digestion of proteins starts in the stomach. The bile secreted from the liver, the pancreatic juice from the pancreas, and the digestive juice from the intestinal wall complete the digestion of all components of food in the small intestine. The digested food is absorbed in the blood vessels from the small intestine. Right? The absorbed substances are transported to different parts of the body. Water and salts are absorbed from the undigested food in the large intestine. The undigested and unabsorbed residues are expelled out of the body as feces through the anus. The grazing animals like cows, buffaloes and deer are known as ruminants. So you might have seen cows, buffaloes and deer while standing, they keep on moving their mouth. They will be actually chewing the partially digested food. So these are the animals which are called ruminants. They quickly ingest, swallow their leafy food and store it in the rumen. Later the food returns to the mouth and the animal chews it peacefully. Right. Amoeba ingests its food with the help of its false feet or pseudopodia. The food is digested in the food vacuole. So this is the end of the chapter. Thank you.